Y'all, today we need to talk about something that I didn't even realize that I missed. So recently, right, there's been a bunch of people posting pictures of older versions of the Wizard101 launcher. If you're on Reddit or Twitter, you've probably seen at least one of these posts over the past few days. And this is something that I didn't even realize until I looked at it, how different it is than what we have now. What you see are images that, basically show the Wiz launcher over the years, going from honestly something quite simple to something crazy nostalgic, something that like itched something in my brain that I didn't even realize I needed. Now, what was so striking to me is that though a lot of people, some people agree that the older launchers were better, some people agree that the new one's better, right? Though there's a lot of disagreement, the top take on all of these posts take me back to that old Wiz launcher. So many people want some sort of return to that. So today, I wanted to talk about everything wrong about the current Wiz launcher and just talk about this idea of how all of these old images coming back could really make us miss something we didn't even know we missed. So let's take a look at what the current Wiz launcher looks like. Now, is this a bad launcher? I would say, unless you're like super nostalgia based, no, it's not a bad launcher. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. But for me, one thing that immediately stood out the second I looked at some of the older Wiz launchers, and it actually kind of like annoys me, the main asset that's used in the current Wiz launcher is this wizard that's like, I don't know, drawn in, I don't know what style, I'm not an artist, but I would say anime adjacent. It's drawn in a style that you cannot find in any other asset within the actual game. Right, when you look at the average wizard, it's very like cartoonish, like I feel like there's something that really works with that style, but it's not what you would expect if you just looked at the Wiz launcher and then logged into the game. I think what's different from this Wiz launcher that we have right now and literally every other launcher that's been posted over the past week or so, the older Wiz launchers always used to use assets from within the game, right? Whether we're talking about Merle Ambrose, whether we're talking about some random goat monk or Crocopatra, whatever it is, I feel like there is something honest about it, which I really appreciate. And I think the way they use the art in the current Wiz launcher is really reminiscent of the way those older Wizard101 commercials used to work. I know y'all remember the ones on TV where they used graphics that you simply could not access in the game. And is an advertisement that can bring you to the game bad in a nutshell? Probably not, right? At the end of the day, an ad, it just makes you want to check out the game. The actual strengths of the game will carry the rest of it. But I think there's something about, what you're advertised being close to product that builds trust and makes it something that you consider for the long haul, not just for a first try. And I feel like the Wiz launcher, especially with the assets that they use, it kind of repeats those mistakes where people kind of felt misled by the older commercial. Now, the other part, I can't believe I'm saying this, the other part of the older Wiz launcher that I actually miss is the Ravenwood bulletin. I know that if y'all are some OGs, y'all know about them bulletin. But basically, right now in the current Wiz launcher, you have all of these little square graphics that you can scroll left to right through, and honestly, it's pretty clean. I would say compared to the old launcher, there's some strengths to the way they present information, right? Anytime there's like an April Fool's sale, an event that's limited time like Eerie April, and of course when there's a new update along with more miscellaneous things like how to earn crowns, how to join the Discord, right? They've actually found a way to convey quite a bit of information in the current Wiz launcher that you couldn't do in the older one, because in the older one they had a bulletin that you'd have to scroll with your mouse wheel essentially up and down. Now here's the thing, while yes, I think being able to convey more information in a smaller space is powerful stuff, especially when it comes to a launcher, what I like is that the older Wiz launcher, the idea of making it look like a bulletin board kind of tied into this idea that you're going to school when you log into Wiz, right? You're attending the Ravenwood School of Magical Arts. I think this is yet another aspect that they really don't seem to push as much, especially when it comes to their advertising. Obviously, I think it's because the target audience is growing. It's not about a school outside of the school that you're already in. Most people that play this game at this point, they might be in college, sure, but a lot of them are probably growing into adulthood, where school is more of a second thought than anything, right? I think that's maybe not fair to say, I don't know, but for me, that's how it is. So you would think, oh, people that aren't going to school, why would we push this idea of like a bulletin board and all of that? Why would we build up that school aesthetic with the launcher? But weirdly enough, I think that, with life being all crazy, sometimes going to a fun ass school based on magic, that could be the escape that people want. And I actually think that's a big part of the appeal that people had to joining the game, right? Joining a school for wizards, right? I feel like that was the sales pitch. I feel like they've kind of lost that with the new visuals that they use with the new launcher as well, right? I think a combination of assets that you can't find in the game and a bulletin board aesthetic that I don't think we have anymore. I think that's what what makes the new launcher so weirdly jarring to look at when compared to how cool the older launchers looked like. Right, there's something cozy about, you know, being true to yourself and not just following all these corporate trends and all of that. Like, you know, if I could draw an analogy to it, it's like how McDonald's used to look versus how it looks now. I think it's crazy. Like a McDonald's with a playground before used to look crazy colorful. Now, the only thing colorful about the exterior of a McDonald's is the logo. That's it. And it's sad to look at. I'm sure anyone who goes to McDonald's knows what I mean by that. Now, here's the element that I do think that a lot of people are not considering, but maybe they're considering deeply. I just don't see this reflected in a lot of the ways people are reacting to the old launchers, right? It's weird, but when you have a game with like a 15-year life cycle like Wizard101, nostalgia is such a big driving point. And I do think for a lot of people, right, they're not actually looking at the Wiz launcher as, oh, it's just so much worse than the previous launcher. There are definitely things to improve on it, 100%. But I think what they're really missing is how their life used to feel, or how simple things used to be back when the launcher did look the way that it did. And does looking at a launcher through a nostalgic lens immediately make your argument invalid? No. I think all it illustrates is the fact that sometimes, yes, Wiz is growing into this really modern game. They have to like keep up with the time. But sometimes there's also a lot of power and nostalgia that I don't think they take advantage of at times at all. I think they've done feeble little attempts at it, like Kraken Day, where they got a bunch of people in the community to farm the old Kraken. Right? They have like throwback Thursdays every now and then where they bring back things that have been in the game since the beginning. Like little things like that. But I think it would be really, really cool if they focused a little bit more of their energy on bringing back things that, you know, we used to have. Maybe use the launcher as a way to like organize more community events based on what people used to do in the game. I'm talking about things like farming waterworks. I'm talking about things like maybe spamming the Kraken. Right? You could even make a competition out of it, similar to what they did with, like, I want to say they did this before with like a community spiral cup. But imagine a version of that, but something through the launcher that everyone can participate in and maybe get prizes for doing stuff. Right? I think little things like that where they lead the community into, like, you know, little pockets of history that haven't been accessed in a while. I feel that'd be a really cool way to use the launcher and really amp up that nostalgia factor. If more people see stuff that they used to see, maybe they could access a part of Wiz that they've lost over the year. I don't know. Sounds like a very abstract argument, like why think about the past when you're trying to reinvigorate the community. But I think if you time it right, if you do it often enough, I really think that could have a very lasting impact on people really solidifying the really feel-good moments that they've had on Wiz. Overall, this video was more to just, like, you know, just to take a stroll down memory lane and, I don't know, just create like a discussion, I guess, around this idea of the past versus the future. It's something that I think Wiz will have to grapple with more and more, and who knows, in 10 years, maybe we'll see pictures from the game right now that look crazy nostalgic to everyone that currently plays. But let me know if y'all saw any of these posts on Reddit and Twitter and just, like, I don't know, had an experience. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm all up in my feels. But let me know y'all's thoughts about all of this. How could they improve the current Wiz launcher? What do you miss about the old Wiz launcher? Do you guys think it's just nostalgia talking? And how could Wiz use that to their advantage? I look forward to reading all of y'all's thoughts and comments. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Leave a sub if you're new. And as always, if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. Stay awesome, y'all. See y'all soon. And yeah.